The room went quiet after her words. It was my birthday. The guests had just finished singing, the cake knife still in my hand, candles still smoldering. I reached out to hug her, my wife, my partner of 7 years, and she pulled back like I was a stranger. "Don't touch me," she snapped, her voice sharp enough to cut through the fading music. "I'm not in the mood to play wife tonight." A few awkward chuckles rippled through the crowd. Some thinky awkward chuckles rippled through the crowd. Some thinky word jock. Some thinky cult life. Some thinky Chris. Some thinky keeks life. Del slag word life. Some thinky music. El hot love lab was a stir rippled through the crowd. I looked into her eyes. Cold, distant, the kind of stare you get when someone's already checked out, even if they're still standing there. That's when I said it, calm and steady, like I'd practiced it 1,000 times. "You won't have to anymore." She blinked, a flicker of confusion crossing her face. I smiled, a smile that hid a war raging inside. That was the moment her game ended and mine began. We weren't always like this. I met Sarah when She loved my hustle, said I made her feel safe. Back then, her laugh filled the gaps I didn't even know were there. We built everything together, our house, our business, a life that looked picture perfect from the outside. But perfection hides cracks. It started small, late-night work meetings, her phone always face down, sharp bursts of annoyance when I asked simple questions. I told myself not to be paranoid. I was wrong. The night everything changed, I found her phone unlocked on the kitchen counter, a text thread open. "He's asleep. Come over." The name? Ryan, my business partner. I stood there, staring at the words, feeling 7 years crumble in silence. Betrayal isn't loud. It's surgical, slicing deep before you even feel the sting. But I didn't confront her. Not yet. I became a ghost in my own home, watching, noting, planning. I started leaving early for planning. I started leaving early old for it, and early for dizzle for. She bought it, she always did. In reality, I hired a private investigator. Within days, I had proof. Photos of her car parked outside Ryan's place, their hands brushing in public like they didn't care who saw. Then came the audio, their whispers, their laughter, her voice saying, "He has no idea. He's too trusting." That line broke me. But not the way she thought. I didn't snap. I built. Quietly, methodically. First, the business. Ryan was Coco, who was Tus, the business. Ryan was Coco's Coco Lug. Ryan was Coco. The business. I started documenting his shady moves, small, traceable missteps. I shifted assets, filed silent reports, set legal traps. Every string he pulled was now tied around his own neck. Then Sarah. Her name wasn't on any of the properties. She thought love meant trust. I knew love could turn. I kept everything in my name for tax reasons. She never questioned it. She should have. For weeks, I played the part. The distant husband, the oblivious fierce, the oblivious fair for oblivious fess. For weeks I played the part, the distant husband, the oblivious far spine till trial belong oblivious felt. For every touch, every word, rehearsed for the final act. That act was my birthday. When I said, "You won't have to anymore," I meant it. 2 days before the party, I'd finalized the divorce without her knowing, using her own forged signature from a settlement she'd once sent me to review. A small digital tweak, legal, clean, perfect. At that moment, she wasn't my wife anymore. She was just a guest in my house. After the guests left, "What did you mean by that?" she finally asked. I handed her a folder, photos, transcripts, her messages, and a single document, notice of property transfer and divorce finalization. Her hands shook. "You can't," she whispered. "I already did," I said. "You and Ryan can be together now. Just not here." Her face collapsed. I'd seen her angry, sad, manipulative, but never desperate. This was new. She tried calling Ryan. She tried calling Ryan Jedhudov. She tried calling Ryan Bridge. He wouldn't pick up because by then, security was escorting him out of the company office, accused of embezzlement based on the evidence I'd planted, evidence that led straight to his personal accounts. I'd handed it to the board hours before the party. Ryan lost everything that night. So did she. The next few days were chaos for them. Calls, texts, begging, threats. Please, let's talk, she sobbed in her fifth voicemail. I made a mistist voicemail. I made a mistist, vabuzz, clad a mistist. I made a mistist with thanks. Marbles of the tool, what a mistist. Then came the anger. You'll regret this. You can't just erase me. I smiled at that one because I already had. She moved to a friend's place a week later. Last I heard, she tried to get the job Ryan had promised her at his company. That job doesn't exist anymore. Neither does his company. Everything they built was made of my silence, and I took it back. It's been 6 months since that night. I don't do birthdays anymore, but sometimes I replay that moment, the look on her face when she realized the trap wasn't new. It had been waiting. People think revenge is loud, yelling, fighting, chaos. They're wrong. Revenge is timing. It's patience dressed up as weakness. It's smiling while the other person still thinks they're winning. Sarah once told me, "You never survive without me." Maybe she was right. The man I was, trusting, forgiving, didn't survive. But the man who took his place, he's thriving. Now, when her name pops up on my phone, I let it ring. I listen to her voice crack under the weight of her choices. It's strange. No joy, no hate, just clarity. She thought I was naive, but I was just patient. And patience? That's the deadliest kind of revenge. She told me not to play husband that night. I made sure she told me not to play husband that night. I made sure she